Jags, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Man, y'all know what time it is. T-Law got the eyes of Lee Van Cleef when he go in that field.
Checks it down underneath. That's a crossing route to Christian Kirk. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Christian Kirk to the goal line. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
They made a major mistake when they made T-Law go to the spirit of the sky, to the oracle of the saber-toothed tiger, and the saber-toothed tiger now has the scepter in his hand, and he been to put every critic to rest. Man, last night I done marinated 2 turkeys. I got my cherry wood getting ready for my smoker. Just got off from work, off Pritchard Road. I'm going to bake me 2 Cornish hens. My special recipe, I call it a Mediterranean Cornish hen. I'm going to top it off with my homemade Long Island iced tea. And I'm only going to top it off with 1 red top of Coca-Cola. The Maxwell House coffee will live on forever. Duval!
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and
Hold my pocket.
Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. Happy game week. The Jaguars kicking things off against the Miami Dolphins on Sunday, just a few days away, 5 to be precise. Hope you had a nice 3-day weekend. Hope you had a 3-day weekend to enjoy. Jeff Lageman's here with us. Good morning, Tony. How are you?
Doing well. We got NFL football in 2 days.
We do have NFL football. We got NFL football in 3 days.
In 2 days, in 3 days,
nice.
in 5 days.
Yeah, I could go for that Friday night heck, I'd go for a Saturday every time, even in the middle of college football season. It would be what I would be watching. But nevertheless, Bulls got it done.
They did.
Bounce back win.
Took care of Trinity pretty handily, 41-7 on Friday.
Pockets, your boys did not take care of business.
No, we fell short. Lost by 7.
I put that all on coaching, honestly.
Yep.
You know,
well, I told my kicker to onside kick, and he went a little too deep, so you can blame me for it.
Is that what it was? He went a little too far with it? Doesn't understand the new kickoff rules and the zones and all that?
I don't know. We'll probably
get him confused. All right, so here we go. Logs, how was your weekend?
Great.
Yeah?
Yeah, great. And I think I watched a little bit of football, the LSU game for a little bit, but other than that,
I don't think I watched a snap of that. I probably watched maybe like a quarter of Florida-Miami, and because I was working last night, probably about the same on Florida State, BC. That's all there is to say about college football for those two teams. I mean, aren't you glad we're a professional football show, and that's what our focus is going to be here?
Y'all did what y'all did this week. I watched every snap of Vanderbilt beating Virginia Tech.
Congratulations.
Did they really?
On Saturday at noon, yes, I did, with a transfer quarterback coming in, and he's out of his mind. He's a little nuts. He makes the game a little bit crazy for Vandy, but they got the win on Saturday. And yes, I watched all of that. If I was at the house, the TV was on, college football was on the TV for the whole weekend, including Sunday night with LSU, including last night with FSU. I was doing other things while I was doing it. I've been drafting Sunday and Monday night at the same time in different fantasy leagues, but I've at least had the noise in the background. It's been college football.
Yep, I had 2 drafts this weekend, 2 more to go. One time, and you're in both of them tonight and tomorrow. Final 2 Jaguars Today leagues, and then we'll be all wrapped up. Pockets will be there drafting with us tonight as well.
What's the count? How many leagues are you guys in?
Well, I mean, leagues where I have to set a lineup, it's going to be like 16. You know, leagues where I don't have to set a lineup, going to be about 216.
Come on.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are just draft and you're done. And then you automatically get your best players every week. Okay. You don't have to set a lineup, and there are no waiver moves or anything like that.
I'm in 6.
You're how many?
6.
Same.
Good for you, Tony.
Yeah.
More reasonable number? Anyway.
Well, that's his job.
It is part of my job.
I mean, it is. It's part of your job, but it's amazing that you can keep track of that.
Hey, you know, it's not that hard. It really isn't. Yeah. You know, like you can have 20 going at one time. You go to the website. It'll show you you're on the clock in like 5 drafts. You go to one. You're like, okay, I need a running back. Boom, you pick a running back. It really doesn't take as long as it sounds like.
Yeah.
Well, you get in a rhythm to it. But anyway, trust me. Nobody needs to hear about that. We're here to talk Jags, Miami.
Yes, sir.
It's game week, baby. So let's get into it. Logs, what is the thing you're most confident about for this Jaguar team in 2024?
I think as a team, I think they're going to be highly competitive. And when I say that is that last year I thought in the stretch that they weren't as competitive as they should have been. And I think this year will be different. I think this team will fight. I think this team will scratch. And I think this team will claw all the way through the season. I'm most confident in the offense because I really believe in Trevor. And if he's healthy, I think he's an outstanding quarterback. I'm talking one of the elite quarterbacks in the league. I think he was on his way towards that last year before he had the injuries. And the way that he was spinning the ball in the preseason, I think this is his breakout year. I really believe that. And a little bit of that is hope, but also a lot of that is what I'm seeing with my eyes and seeing what he's doing with the ball in moments. Because he's having some incredible moments when you watch him on the practice field, when you watch him in the game. And I also see a little bit different player. When I say that, he's more apt to speak out, and he's more comfortable doing that, watching him in practice now. And that's a really good sign, which means that he's taking ownership. And with a quarterback who just signed, $55 million per year average, a lot of times it can be easy to kind of hit that coast button a little bit. I don't see that in him. I never felt that he was that type of player, and that's a real positive sign.
Trevor Lawrence obviously will be part of the answer to this kind of question. He was willing to fight through all those injuries at the back half of last season and kept himself on the field for the most part, except for the 1 week against Carolina. But what outside of Trevor Lawrence perhaps makes you confident that the team is in a better position to fight this year than they were, especially down the stretch last year?
I think defensively, I think they're going to be a lot more confident, a lot more sure of what they're doing. I'm not saying that they're going to be able to attain the same number of takeaways that they've had over the last couple of years, because it was an incredible number the last couple of years, and that's hard to do that. But I believe that they're going to play with a faster, more aggressive attitude on defense, being more sure of what they're doing. I think at times last year, Mike Caldwell would have a defense that was hesitant, that they weren't quite sure of what they were doing.
Well, what led to that, do you think?
I think an inexperienced coach, that's first-time defensive coordinator. And look, I mean, not everybody's cut out to be a defensive coordinator. Maybe Mike.
Or at least the first time around.
Exactly. And maybe this next time around, maybe he'll be better suited to that. But, the one thing that I like about Ryan Nielsen is it's not just Ryan Nielsen. It's Ryan Nielsen. It's Chris Richard. It's the coaching staff that he's put together, from House to linebackers coach to his defensive backs coach. I mean, he's got some really good coaches that are coaching in a real sure and positive way. And last year, I think at times there was a little bit of indecisiveness, not only as a coaching staff, but also from the player standpoint. And when you have two players that are of the caliber of a Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker, I'm sorry, but when you put them in a two-point stance, that just totally goes against common sense. And that these are our two best players, our best pass rushers. Why are we putting them in a two-point stance when it's 3rd and 8 and it's 3rd and 9 and it's a 2-minute drill? Somebody tell me how that makes those two better. It doesn't.
And Trayvon Walker expressed that this offseason.
He did.
How happy he is. Is he, in your opinion, like you could say you already had a breakout season because, double-digit sacks in your second year can be considered that. But do you think there's another level he's going to reach this year?
I kind of was unsure about how high his ceiling was, a little bit last year. I'm really seeing him attack the edges, which is, you guys heard me say it a million times here. He's got to stop getting down the center of guys. Everybody's big and strong in this league, and he's actually working the edges of guys, and it's impressive to watch. It's like, finally, you see it. And I think that's part of the evolution, that you've got to learn to be a pass rusher. In college, guys are just being athletic and being strong, and Trayvon had the ability to be more athletic and more strong or stronger than other guys just because God has blessed him with an incredible skill set. But at this league, there's a lot of guys that have that level of skill to be able to defend what he's got. And he's learned now to take guys on the edge. And if you watch him in practice and you watch him in the games, he's really attacking the edges. Well, when you're big and strong and athletic and now you're attacking edges, your strength and everything else really comes through. So I think that this will be a big step up for him, as long as he stays healthy. Health is always, the primary consideration, but I think he also is primed for a big step up. Now, Josh, I think if Josh can replicate the numbers that he got last year, I think that's an outstanding year for Josh because I think he had a lot of kind of perfect scenarios to get the numbers that he did last year. But if he reaches the same numbers or close to that, I think it's a highly successful year for Josh.
And if he has 14 or 15, Tone, I'm not going to be complaining.
No
too
way.
much,
Great year.
No
way.
A little bit short of last year's number doesn't mean he can't have the same kind of impact.
It's been a long time since the Jags have had a pass rusher that's going to be here for half a decade that you feel pretty confident is going to be our double-digit guy over that entire period of time. They just haven't had that historically in the franchise.
Haven't ever
much.
really had that.
Right.
No.
I mean, it's been Brackens.
And it wasn't like he was stacking a bunch of double-digit seasons together when you look at it.
But it's been that long. Like, Calais Campbell was a great player for the Jaguars for the couple of years he was here.
Yep.
But it
Great
wasn't.
player.
Yeah, it wasn't 5, 6, 7 years.
Get to say hello to him this
right
week.
in his prime. And that's what you're getting with Josh Hines-Allen. He's still going into his prime years here in Jacksonville. How much do you expect?
Do you see how big those guys are, though, Tony?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking Trayvon and Josh are 285.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, 285. This is not, the listing that they put on the sheet to make the opponent look at it and go, oh, my gosh, they weigh 285
Whatever that
pounds.
combine measurement is that everyone goes with forever, that's not what they are.
That's not what they are.
No.
Because they list, I think, at 265 and then I think 275 is the two listings that they have for Josh and Trayvon. They're both 285 pounds.
How much would you expect Armstead to play against Miami?
I don't know. That's a great question. Because what we see is so limited. And what we've seen so far, haven't seen him take a team rep. So I don't know. And if he hasn't taken much of team reps, how effective can he be? I think if he plays, and that's a real question, is how much will he play in what role? If he does play, my expectation is that it's going to be more in a sub situation, more as a kind of a DPR or designated pass rusher as a 3 technique and nickel and dime. I would be surprised if he gets snaps and base downs right out of the gate.
All right, let's take a quick time out here to set the stage, and we're ready to roll here with Jeff Lageman on an official Check the Tape Tuesday. We'll be looking at a little Miami tape perhaps today, but if you want to get in, if you've got a question or comment about the Jags overall, about their Week 1 opponent, the Miami Dolphins, how they're going to match up, you know how to do it, 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. I see our man Cristiano is in the YouTube chat. Shout out to Cristiano. Twitter currently unavailable to Cristiano and the rest of his countrymen down there. So I made sure Cristiano tweeted me before the ban went into effect and DM'd me. And I said, look, you got my number? Text me. I'm sure we'll see you. We knew you'd be out there. He's drafting with us tonight, as a matter of fact. This is our Jaguars Today draft where most of the folks live outside Duval proper, so we'll look forward to that. But you can post your thoughts there in the YouTube virtual studio chat if you'd like, or hit us up on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Logs56, or at 1010XL Denmark. It has begun. You know it. It's game week, baby. Let's get off to a 1-0 start. Let's get off to a good start this morning. Hop on board. Let us know what you're thinking about Jaguar football. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180. Look, we all set goals for ourselves, right? And usually you have a pretty clear course. Look, I want to go here on vacation. You know what you got to book? You got to get the hotels. You got to get the planes. So what if you want to lose 40 or 50 pounds? Where's your clear path to victory there? Well, you read reviews, you talk with a few friends, and you try something out. When that doesn't work, you get disappointed, dejected, and you start the whole cycle over. Awaken 180 is different. You're going to have success immediately with Awaken 180. I lost nearly 10 pounds my first week dropping weight with them, and it consistently kept coming off 4 to 5 pounds a week after that until I hit my goal weight of 26 pounds. That was a year ago. It's September now. I've kept the weight off basically for 11 months and happy to do it with Awaken 180 because it's been really easy. You eat to lose weight, and then you go into maintenance, and they've got free support and maintenance for life once you're at your goal weight. So check them out online, awaken180weightloss.com. If you want to lose the weight, but more importantly, keep it off, Awaken 180, that's the way to go.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. Get ready to roar into the weekend. Get everything you need to know for your weekend on Pre-Game Friday.
It's a big deal.
Gosh, it sure is a big deal.
Brought to you by MyBookie and Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
Who has the best lineup this season? Honda. Cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, hybrids, and electric. This is one of the greatest lineups Honda has ever had. And now is the best time to purchase or lease one. Visit your local Honda dealer now. Remember, only a Honda is a Honda.
Expert Automotive is ready to keep you cool this summer. Right now, get an AC inspection or a system cooling checkup. Your choice for only $19.99. Their gift to you this summer is $50 off any service and a free tire rotation with any service. Their ASE certified technicians can keep your car cool without breaking the bank this summer. Call them at 374-3373 to get an appointment today. Expert Automotive. They never sell greed, only what you need.
Here's Ben and John Lupo, owners of Beards Diamonds.
It's funny, my dad has sold people engagement rings, and now I'm selling their kids engagement rings and anniversary gifts and birthday gifts.
We're blessed with the relationships we've built over the years.
Check out our full inventory at beardsdiamonds.com.
Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Don't bet the National Football League this season without your VSiN NFL betting guide. Betting previews for all 32 teams, betting trends, VSiN's exclusive in-depth win total projections, and a guide on how to use betting splits to bet and win. Download your free copy of the guide right now, featuring a betting preview of your Jacksonville Jaguars. 1010XL.com. That's 1010XL.com.
It's about the hunt.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Lageman.
We take you from the water to the woods.
On the Nimnicht Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Let's go to the woods, y'all.
Saturday mornings from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Mortgage rates have plummeted, and Loan Pronto clients are locking in the lowest rates we've seen in years. Hey, it's Roger Moore, founder and CEO of Loan Pronto. It's happening. We are finally locking APRs in the 5s, something we haven't seen for a long time. If that sky-high rate is killing you or you need to get cash out of your home equity, now is the time to take action. Or listen, even if you want to keep that first mortgage rate intact, you can take advantage of lower rates with our Equity Express line of credit. We're seeing homeowners take $50, $75, $200 grand or more out of their equity and wiping out that high-interest debt with an average savings of $850 per month. Bottom line, your home value is way up and mortgage rates have come way down, making this a great time to act. Call today for a 30-second rate quote. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Jags fans, a new Everbank Performance account could be your ticket to London this October. Through the Everbank London Getaway, one lucky winner and a guest will receive round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and a pair of tickets to see the Jags play in London. To learn more and for official rules, visit everbank.com/London. No person necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of 50 United States and DC 18 or older. Entry period for the Everbank London Getaway Suites is from 8/5/24 to 9/5/24. To enter in for official rules, alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank NA.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
Got a cracked windshield? Not only is it dangerous, but did you know it's also illegal? Call Baker Glass. Mack and his crew use the best auto glass in the market, and they accept most insurance. Plus, all new windshields come with a full warranty. From cars, to trucks, to RVs, you can count on Baker Glass to be fast and friendly. Just check out their Google reviews. Come see us at the shop on Casta Avenue, or we can come to you at your home or business.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, Jaguars Today, game week, week 1. Undefeated preseason, Tone. How long will the undefeated regular season go? At least till Sunday, about 4 o'clock. Hopefully beyond that, but we know that much.
Yeah.
We got captains updates, right?
We do. The 5 that have been named: Trevor Lawrence, Foye Oluokun, Josh Hines-Allen, Evan Ingram, and Logan Cook, the team captains. I know the last couple years they've had the one captain that floats.
The floater.
Like with each game, they name an additional captain that goes out for the coin toss, all that kind of thing. But those are the 5 official team captains.
I mean, honestly, the first 3 seem like the no-brainers of all, right? I mean, Foye and Josh almost have to be guys that you're going to name as captains on defense. And
well, remember, Josh wasn't a captain last year, which was kind of surprising.
Right, he had been the previous 2 or 3 years, and then last year he wasn't.
But he worked on his own, worked out on his own.
Right, and you invested in him and everything, and I think everything, I mean, all signs. I mean, Josh Hines-Allen logs.
Got to get used to that.
It's still
I do too.
A work in progress. I owe $1 to the jar there. If I'm going to find Duraco, we got to find me as well. But I feel like he really has, taken on the mantle of being like a standard bearer for this organization and this franchise. He talks about legacy and what he wants it to be. It's not just like, hey, I'm getting paid a lot of money here. He wants to build something here. He's always embraced the Duval aspect of being a Jacksonville Jaguar, and at this stage, you're right. He wasn't one last year, but would have been shocking to me if he wasn't one this time around.
Yeah, I mean, he was here the whole time, and I get it last year, when a player, because of contract stuff, ends up training elsewhere and only comes back when he has to, it's just a different feel for your teammates, and then, business is business, and they understand it, and sometimes you just got to take a year off of being a captain like that. But I will say this, even though he didn't wear the C last year, he had the same level of respect from his teammates that as if he was wearing the C.
And Evan Ingram, obviously, he's the guy that we always remark, he's the first guy out of practice every day.
He's so impressive on, Posluszny's kind of along the same lines. If you go back to, some of the great Jaguars in history, and their training regime is just impressive. I mean, Paz was the same way. Evan Ingram, when he came here, he had a little bit of a stigma attached to him that he would drop occasional balls. And then all of a sudden you started watching him train and watching him practice and how many different things that he was doing for hand-eye coordination, including wearing these glasses that flashed light at him and catching tennis balls and like, geez, what does he come up with?
And I do think he did that as a reaction because he did drop a lot of balls.
He had that.
He really did. And
but
I think
here he hasn't,
he recognized it and said, look, my career can go one of 2 ways. I can be a disappointment or
Players
I can
are allowed
fulfill
to
my
get better.
potential.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're allowed to see something that's a weakness early in your career and say, that's got to stop. I don't want this to be a one contract deal for me in the NFL. I'm a talented enough player. That shouldn't be the end of it. It's time to take this seriously. He did. He's been great since he got here.
Yeah, and talking to Evan different occasions, I mean, he loves it here. I mean, he loves it here. New York, kind of wore him out a little bit, which New York can do that to people. And he really kind of was reinvigorated here and really attacked his trade and attacked the whole premise of getting better. So give him a lot of credit.
All right, let's jump in on these phone lines for the first time this morning. If you want to be a part of it, you know all the different ways you can interact with the show, but 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines might be the easiest and most direct way. We're actually going to start in the state of Maryland this morning. Harold first up on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Harold.
Hey, good morning, guys. Love the show, man. Listen to you guys all the time.
Appreciate it, man.
So,
thank you.
Hey, my question was, I believe that like the defense the defensive line is going to be the key to the defense this year. I think we all kind of agree that that's the strength of the defense, and it's going to take the pressure off the DBs if we can wreak some havoc. My question is about, we know we have, the bookends there, but I thought last year with Devon Hamilton, he was sort of surrounded in mystery. He had this off the field back thing, and then he kind of came back, and he wasn't really in game shape. What have you guys seen from him on the center of the line? What have you seen from him so far, and sort of what do you expect this year out of him? I'm just love to get your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. Sure. Thanks, Harold.
It's a great question. I kind of want to make sure that everybody understands what happened to him. He had an infection issue in his lower back. I mean, literally was scary. I mean, like, couldn't move. And thank goodness that they had a doctor that was able to diagnose it in a very relatively quick fashion so that they could attack it. And there was a concern about, would he ever be the same, I think, right, at some moments. I mean, so, and then when he came back, when you come back, sometimes that reaction, that quick twitch is a little bit slower to return. It's not that he was out of shape or anything, or he wasn't trying.
Right, because Doug Peterson even said, like, he's healthy now, right? When he returned, but like you're saying, healthy doesn't necessarily mean on the razor's edge you need to be to play in the NFL.
Healthy means that he can play, but being the same is a little different. So, I give Devon a pass on what happened last year, in that, I think he was just happy to be walking. So yeah, and look, I had a conversation with Devon 2 weeks ago, and talked about that moment, and he said it was scary. He said, you're not worrying about football, you're worrying about, am I going to be able to walk? And scary for him, scary for his family, because it was unknown. It wasn't like there was a moment that he had an injury. It was just all of a sudden something's happening to him, and he doesn't know what's going on. So for him to get back to where he's at now, I'm very happy for him, and it looks like he's back to the form that he had a couple years ago, where he's big, he's strong, he's powerful. He still's got to have some violent departures, which was a little bit of a criticism that I had for him going 2 years back.
Explain, what do you mean violent departures?
A lot of times, guys, when they're on blocks, they're powerful and they control the blocks, but then there becomes that moment that you've got to take that guy and throw him into the dirt pile and then get off and make a play. And sometimes he's a little bit slow to do that. And that's something that he's got to work on, is the violent departures. And he will. He's a really good football player. He's a super strong human being, and he can push the pocket. And you put him out there with 98, Jordan Jefferson, and you've got two super strong human beings. Super strong human beings.
So you expect maybe the best we've seen from Devon Hamilton this year if he stays healthy?
I hope so. He looks to be in great shape, and if he can return to the form 2 years ago, outstanding for this team.
All right, Harold, thank you for the call. Let's go to Austin and Arlington to keep it rolling here on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. Austin, good morning.
How are you?
Excellent. How are you, man?
I wanted to hear your take on, so I'm from Georgia, born and raised, and I'm a big, huge Trayvon guy, and he was getting a lot of criticism when he got drafted first overall, like, we should have got Aiden Hutchinson. I want to hear your take on him now about his progression and all that.
Okay, I think he's gotten a lot better. I think Aiden Hutchinson's a better player.
I think, look, it's a fair debate to have. Should you have taken Aiden Hutchinson or should you have taken Trayvon Walker? It's a great debate, and it's a fair debate. That's what makes this game great, and it's a professional football. People are entitled to have opinions.
Sure.
And the one thing about Trent Baalke likes people that have, I don't know another way to term it, superhuman characteristics. Miles Cole, for example, he talks about the sleeve length that he has, the 36.5-inch arm span. Trayvon Walker has a physical skill set that is different, way different than Aiden Hutchinson. He likes those kind of people. I mean, look at Mason Smith, his second-round pick. You just don't find 6'6", 310, 15 pounds walking around every day. I mean, that's just his style, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it is a great debate. And for people that, don't get upset because there's another person that has an opinion that thinks that we should have drafted Aiden Hutchinson. Look, I hope they both play incredibly well. I mean, especially Trayvon, because he's kind of
he's our guy.
He's our guy, and he's in the home neck of the woods, from Georgia right up the road. And Aiden Hutchinson is a perfect situation. He played at Michigan. He's playing for the Detroit Lions,
Sure.
kind of a homegrown product for both of them. So I hope they both have great success, and there's nothing wrong with having an opinion one way or the other.
Right, and I hope that Trayvon Walker, Tony, becomes the guy going forward. But I don't. To me, there's not much debate that Aiden Hutchinson has been better.
He's been better to this point. I think there's a lot of promise in what we've seen from Trayvon, the breakout last year, and what we've seen from him now going into this season. It does feel like a player that's improving still, and we, as you said, I don't know what exactly the ceiling is for Trayvon as an athlete and a player in the league. You mentioned Armstead's usage this week is still an open question when I asked you about it in a moment. How do you expect them to ideally rotate their defensive line interior guys against the Dolphins this week?
Well, I think and are you considering or assuming that Armstead is going to be in the interior?
I'm assuming that he's at least available to be an interior.
Yeah, and I don't really know. I think that's going to be a work in progress. And I know Ryan Nielsen talked about having who's going to have the hot hand, and that will affect the rotation. They've also talked about that they want to be able to roll guys through to where they're staying fresh for 50, 55 snaps in a game. So are Josh and Trayvon going to end up being on that same type of pitch count? Sure, they're going to be on a pitch count, but the whole purpose of having a rotation is so that you can have your best guys available when you need them the most. So those guys will get a little bit different proportion of snaps than some others. So how will the rotation work? I don't know. I mean, here's the question. You've got 7 or 8 interior defensive tackles, if you're considering Armstead on the inside, I mean, that are going to be playing or could possibly play, and you don't know who's going to be active. You can't have all of them active. So, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting, Tony, just from the standpoint, who's going to be active on game day.
And that doesn't even include Walker as a guy that can move inside if you needed him to. No. He has that flexibility too,
right,
to play him wherever you want to play him. Basically,
my guess is that you're going to have 8, maybe 9 active on game day as defensive linemen, probably. I don't want to put a number on it, but 8 or 9, somewhere in that range. And how's the rotation going to work? I don't know. I mean, because Armstead's the wild card.
Yeah.
Once he's ready to go, he's going to play. And so he's going to take snaps away from other guys. And so until you know that answer, it's hard to really say one way or the other.
Just curious, why wouldn't Armstead be ready to go? He's been fully cleared, right? I'm not saying ready to go for 50 reps. I don't think anybody is necessarily playing 50 snaps there, but why wouldn't he be available for at least 20 snaps in this game?
And maybe he will be. But is 20 snaps enough?
I don't know. I'm just throwing a number. Like I'd be surprised if he doesn't have a decent amount of reps because, again, we're supposedly past the knee issue. He's been cleared for everything. I understand he didn't play in the preseason, but it's going to be about 3 weeks, since he's been back practicing, and he had been working on the side as well. So I guess we'll see.
I think the biggest question is that if you're a coach, is that you're giving him the eye test. Okay, well, he hasn't practiced yet. Okay, until he practices and participates in team drills, and then shows that he's ready to go and shows that he's ready to contribute 25 to 30 snaps. I don't think that you're going to cut them loose yet. When you listen to them talk and you've listened to what they've said, they always go back to the objective is to get him into November, December, January, February. Mm-hmm. So I think that is always kind of in the back of their minds.
All right, let's take a time out here. Jeff Lageman's here, and we can get into any aspect of Jaguar football as they prepare themselves for the Miami Dolphins in South Florida to open up the season on Sunday, just 5 days away. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman and Dylan Denmark here with you. If you're on the line, stay right there at 641-1010. We'll come back and get your calls. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Lickety Split, one of our newest sponsors. You know, here in North Florida, temperatures go up, your AC goes out. You need help now, like right now, like Lickety Split. Whether it's AC, whether it's plumbing, electric, they can handle any issue you've got at your home. Call Lickety Split for premium solutions that you can trust with same-day emergency service. Local, family-owned and operated with a huge fleet of techs and trucks out there, and they're servicing all of Northeast Florida. Check them out online by going to licketysplitfl.com.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Florida homeowners are going to extreme lengths to stay cool this summer.
We sit in front of the refrigerator with the door open and only eat frozen foods while they're still frozen and put ice cubes down our pants. Whoa, that's cold.
But the most popular and cost-effective way can be summed up by a quack. Just call Duck Duck Air Conditioning. For AC repairs to new installations, you too can beat the Florida heat with Duck Duck Air Conditioning, Jacksonville area's AC experts. Trust the Duck to keep your cooling costs low. DuckDuckAC.com.
Imagine stepping out of your cozy cabin on a crisp fall morning, coffee in hand, a stunning view from your private porch greets you. You spend the day relaxing at the tiki bar or taking a dip in the year-round pool while catching the big game on TV. Welcome to Island Oaks RV Resort, just past McClenny off exit 333. Book your cabin that sleeps 4 to 6 people. A close, affordable getaway with activities for the whole family. Make memories that last at Island Oaks RV Resort, islandoaksrvresort.com.
It's storm season, and JEA is committed to keeping you informed. In the event of a storm, we'll text and email you about the status of your services. We use Facebook and X to post real-time updates. Our live outage map on JEA.com lets you track restoration progress. And as crews work to restore services, our storm outreach team will be in local neighborhoods to answer your questions. Because as your community utility, JEA is here to keep you safe and connected. Your community, your utility.
Roof damage? Call before you claim. Green Law Group, fighting insurance companies for you. They will work for you when you have roof damage. Don't let your insurance deny you. Don't call an adjuster. Call Green Law Group at 904-302-7055. Remember, if you have roof damage, call Green Law Group before you claim. They've settled millions and will work hard to get your claim and new roof. Green Law Group. Call before you claim. 904-302-7055.
When the sun goes down, you might think a golf course shuts down, but not at the Golf Club of Southampton. Join the gang every Thursday night for trivia with Brooke and Jason, and everybody's favorite night, Friday night on the patio, featuring local musicians, food, and drink. It's all at the Golf Club of Southampton. Great golf. You've come to expect that. But don't forget, when night falls, the fun doesn't stop. Trivia every Thursday night and Southampton's live music patio session Fridays. Call 287-PLAY to make a tee time and the good time.
You've waited patiently, and the wait is almost over. NFL football is back.
That's awesome.
Kickoff week on 1010XL is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
Let the games begin.
Chelsea here, ready to upgrade your home and save big? Now's the perfect time with Renewal by Anderson. For a limited time, it's buy one, get one 40% off on all windows and doors. That's right, buy one, get one 40% off plus flexible financing options to fit your budget. Our custom-built energy-efficient windows and doors are made with Vibrex, 2 times stronger than vinyl, giving you the durability you need and the savings you want. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to book your free consultation today. Don't wait, this offer won't last. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613. Proud partner of the Florida Gators.
Jeff Lageman here. Now that football season is here, make sure your ride can get to that tailgate or away game safely and dependably. You can trust the ASC certified professionals at any of the 27 independently owned Napa Auto Care Centers and the quality Napa parts they use. Napa Auto Care Centers can handle everything: oil changes, air conditioning, brakes, engines, transmissions, and more. Napa Auto Care offers a nationwide 24-month, 24,000-mile peace of mind warranty on most repairs. Find a Napa Auto Care Center near you. JacksNapaAutoCareGroup.com.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab Crab House.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is Dr. James Perry, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
It's Jaguars game week as the Jags will kick off their season against the Miami Dolphins this Sunday. Head coach Doug Peterson spoke to the media yesterday on the importance of getting off to a fast start.
We face, playoff teams in our first, 4 or 5, 6, 7 weeks, whatever it is. I mean, it's these are playoff teams and AFC type teams too that we have to compete against. So, it's a long season. We understand that, but at the same time, you want to play good football, and it does help the momentum too if you can get off to a good start.
Sound courtesy of Jaguars.com. I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday is serviced by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, we've got a Check the Tape Tuesday here with Jeff Lageman, kind of pre-checking the tape edition of it, just the overall feel of where the Jaguars stand heading into the Miami game. We'll get into some matchups coming up here shortly, and how are we going to contain these wide receivers is the biggest question most people have here.
I think even another concern that I have is that they've got two really dynamic running backs that not only can run the ball but also
they might have three.
It might have three
with Jalen Wright coming in
that can also be major targets in a passing game. So I think it's a tremendous challenge this week.
Well, they love to run it, right? And you would think Miami's reputation, they got Tyreek, they got Waddle, they're throwing it all over the place. And they did. I mean, Tua led the league in passing yards last year, but this is a team that absolutely wants to run the ball, and they want to create mismatches with the speed of Devon Achane. You better not miss.
Super fast.
I mean, look, he averaged like over 8 yards a touch last year. Raheem Mostert had 21 touchdowns last season.
Your captain middle linebacker in Foye Oluokun, who is, had a hamstring issue, did not play in the last preseason game. You hope that he's good to go. I mean, hamstrings are kind of finicky things, are they healed or are they not,
Well, and they're talking about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, those guys are explosive enough that it's really hard to try to get an advantageous box on defense to attack the run of the Miami Dolphins. Like, they create matchups in the run game because of how much they can threaten you on the outside. You can't you don't want to single either one of them up. You probably have to single one of them up and figure out what else you want to do outside of that, and they take advantage of the math. They're not afraid to say, we're not throwing it on this snap, we're running. They're willing to play that game and be patient with it, and they know their guys, when given a chance, are going to win more than they lose if they get any kind of advantageous matchup.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point about math, and for people that may not understand exactly what you're talking about there, when if you're just looking at just like regular base personnel, and the Miami Dolphins have Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill on the field together. You've got two incredibly fast guys. So if you're playing a run fortified box, you're playing an 8 guys in the box type of situation, which means you're depleting the secondary a little bit because you're putting extra defender up in the box to make sure that you can stop Achane or the running game of the Miami Dolphins. If you're playing a lighter box, then you're playing a 7-man box, and then you're keeping 2 safeties back deep to keep the speed under check of Tyreek Hill and
Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle,
yeah.
Thank you. And so it's a little bit of a math game, and the same thing kind of applies when they go to 3 wide receiver sets. Are you playing a 6-man box or are you playing a 7-man box? So you have to be cognizant of that as a defensive coordinator. So I think in a game like this, you're probably willing to give up a little bit of numbers in the running game just so that you're not giving something up in the back end that's an explosive play of 20, 30 yards or whatever.
How much does the flexibility of the guys that they have that are kind of hybrid linebacker safety type players like Antonio Johnson, you can play him basically anywhere you want to play him. How much of an advantage can you create for yourself having guys like that on your Savage to some degree is that kind of player too, just depending on where you want to play. How much can you kind of limit the advantage that Miami can get with those numbers 7 versus 8 against the run?
It's hard. I mean, it's hard. It's not easy to do. The one thing I think that helps a lot is that if you have some guys up front that are playing really well, when I say playing really well up front, the 4 down guys that you have up front, they're playing well in the running game and they're also rushing the passer very, very well. That makes all the difference in the world because then if they're playing well, you're not having to fortify the box to make up, for the abilities or to put an extra guy up there to cover up for the running game. And then if they're rushing the passer well with 4 guys, okay, then all of a sudden it takes a little bit of pressure off the back end. So, I mean, the front 4 guys, I mean, this is a big week for them because they need to play well in both areas for this defense to go. Because, look, that's the strength of this team, right? I mean, is it not? That's not what it's built for. If you keep 7 defensive tackles and you went out and spent a ton of money in free agency and then you gave Josh Hines Allen a big contract, you drafted a guy first overall, is that not supposed to be the strength of your defense? Then it's got to produce.
All right, let's get back to the phone lines here at 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. We'll go to Mason in Riverside next up. Good morning, Mason.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Let me get a
Duvo. What's up, man?
Hey, so last week I was listening to Jaguars Happy Hour. Pete Prisco was talking about how he would line up if he were the DBs across from Hill and Waddle. He put our best guy on Waddle, and then he put number 2 in his safety on Hill. What do you guys take on that idea? And thanks so much for taking the call.
Appreciate it.
Well, Pete ain't lining up against anybody.
But that's a pretty common way of defensing teams. A lot of teams do that. They take the number 1 corner, take out the number 2 guy one-on-one, and then double the number 1 guy. And that really was Bill Belichick's kind of one of his calling cards, was to do that because a lot of people were going with the mindset of, what we saw with DeAndre Hopkins and Jalen Ramsey is that, put the best guy on the best guy, and, okay, then you can do whatever you want elsewhere. Well, Belichick was the guy that kind of went a little bit of kind of a contrarian belief in that he put 2 guys on the best guy, and then he had his best guy on somebody else. And it's a great I think topic of discussion. It's a great idea on Pete's behalf, but the problem is that sometimes it's hard to double guys because of the way that they can hide them in a lineup. Because if you're expecting a guy to be
they put
Tyreek
everywhere.
They play him everywhere. So it's incredibly hard to really dial in on a guy. I mean, then the real good teams, and look, McDaniel's a really good offensive mind. He's doing a really good job of making sure that defensive coordinators are not getting a bead on his guys.
Yeah, and their willingness to move Tyreek around combined with most number 2s on most NFL teams aren't as good as Jalen Waddle.
No.
Right? Like, he would be a 1 in a lot of places for a lot of different teams around the league. He's the 2 in Miami because they have Tyreek Hill. It makes it really hard to figure out exactly how you want to match up with him week to week.
All right, back to the lines we go. Mason, thank you. As we go to Steve in Melbourne next up. Good morning, Steve.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, Logs, you've been talking about most of my question all day. If you were the DC, I mean, you're noticing that, Miami's O-line, they've had issues over the years, but is this a battle in the trenches or a battle in the secondary? Because, Tua has been known not to be that clutch under pressure, but he gets the ball out so quick just because you can run these 2 receivers, on short routes that they can turn into, home run calls because of their speed. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's a great debate, Steve. I mean, where you kind of get that edge at, and I'm going to go back to and bring this up again. This is a game the defensive front's got to win. You know, the Miami Dolphins have incredible skill position. They've got a quarterback who had a tremendous year last year, and they've got a great running back. I think if there was a weakness that they have, and it's kind of hard to say that they have a weakness when they were one of the most dynamic offenses in the National Football League last year, but it's the offensive line.
And they've lost guys. It's a different offensive line. And if you listen to the local media in Miami, that is their huge concern for this football team.
Yeah, that's got to be a win. You know, when you kind of have the different matchups you always look at each week. That's got to be a check mark on the Jaguars side as far as, and I'm not talking about just we got the edge in that category. It needs to be a decisive win in that category for the Jaguars to play as well as they want to play against this team.
Yeah, it dictates whether or not you can match up the way you want to match up, right? Like your guys on the line have to win that matchup against what you think is it was not a great offensive line last year, and it lost a couple pieces on top of that. They need to win.
And it's not just 4 guys winning, Tony.
No.
I mean, it's going to be 90-something degrees. It's the first game of the year. You're not ready to play 65 snaps in a game. I mean, trust me. I mean, when you're coming out of a preseason where you've played little to few reps, you're not in game shape yet. You're not. And so when Ryan Nielsen was talking in the preseason about, okay, we're going to roll guys through, if there was ever a game that guys got to roll through, this is it. You know, because you're not in game shape yet. And it's going to be incredibly hot, and also the emotions of the first game. You put all that together, and it's got to be a group effort. It's going to take, that's why we're talking about 8, maybe 9. I mean, that's why I would probably lean more towards 9, because the big guys are going to have to roll and they're going to have to play well.
Well, look, like you said, you kept 11. Show us why, right? Sure. This is why you have these guys, and we'll see how many of them just are active and getting in that rotation coming up on Sunday. If you want to be a part of our rotation, 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines is the easiest way to do it, but you can hit us up on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures in the YouTube virtual studio chat as well, or on social media. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and Dylan Denmark here with you halfway home on a Check the Tape Tuesday. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Start your day off right, your week off right with Dandy. Maybe, you rolled out, you slept in yesterday, and you didn't quite get up on time today, so you're a little bit behind. Well, you can always swing into an area gate station on your way to work or anytime you're driving around Duval and find some wonderful items for you, particularly for breakfast. Dandy has a great, deep lineup for breakfast with all the classics. Think buttermilk biscuits and soft, flaky croissants, French toast, light, tasty maple waffles, sizzling country sausage, black forest ham, thick sliced bacon, peppered fried eggs, creamy Wisconsin cheddar cheese, and on, and all the many combinations they can put together. They're all made, as Dandy always does, with the highest quality ingredients, locally sourced as often as possible, delivered fresh daily around Duval, giving you that great variety I just described, and the prices always put a smile on your face. Whether it's breakfast or anytime, Dandy's the name to know in Duval, so when you're hungry, go out and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Have breakfast with 1010XL on game day.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's a game day buffet.
That smells good. What is that?
It's the Terminix Kickoff Show. Presented by Clearwater Irrigation and Gatorade. 5 hours before kickoff on 1010XL.
Prosser here. Hey, pick a news source. But the reports are home prices are expected to decline in 2025, even after the election. So you need to maximize your home sales price now before this downturn, and you can do it with the agents proven to sell for top dollar, Chad and Sandy Newman. Hey, perhaps you're worried about selling for less money with a lowball out-of-state instant offer, or maybe you want maximum equity from your home, but you're not sure how. That's why you turn to Chad and Sandy, who have the answers. No required costly repairs. Chad and Sandy are the local real estate experts I trust and recommend for the sale of your home. Tony and Maggie at Jack's Golf and Country Club said, "We recently had a job transfer and we needed to sell fast. With homes in our area struggling to sell inside 100 days, we didn't know what to do. Our worries were solved when we hired Chad and Sandy. Our home sold in 3 days for one of the highest prices ever in our neighborhood at over $1 million. Call the local experts we trust, 904-414-6200 or ChadAndDSandy.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride.
120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a dust bunny breeder from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Steve Johnson.
Welcome to the show, Steve. It's great to be here, Alex.
Yeah, you don't have to answer in the form of a question, Steve.
What is this game show?
See, that's another question.
Are you going to ask me about air conditioners?
Yeah, okay. How about we just send the Bueller guys over and you can annoy them with all your questions? Johnny?
That's right, Steve. Bueller Air and Plumbing can answer all your air conditioning questions, repair options, replacement models, and how to make your AC last longer while saving electricity, making sure you are cool.
Where is the parking lot?
You're killing me, Steve.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
I open the door and take you inside the locker room to get you closer to the field, the players and coaches you care about.
Get a look at Hayes' blog on 1010XL.com.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. TAP Insulation stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Keep your home cool, noise out, and pests dead. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free inspection.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect fare for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
Hayes Carline here. If you're like me in the fall, you want to watch football, not clean. Enter Molly Maid, voted Bold City Best Cleaning Service 3 years in a row. Molly Maid is reliable, friendly, and thorough. Visit mollymaid.com.
Here's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Overseas or at home for the Noles so far, the results have been the same with the loss to Boston College on Monday evening. Head coach Mike Norvell still has expectations for his team.
I do believe in this team, and I believe in what we can do, and I believe in how we can respond, because that does not look like Florida State football with what we just did.
Former Gator head coach Steve Spurrier was disappointed with the team's play in the loss to Miami and offered this advice.
Billy Napier and his guys, they need to do some things differently. Can't just keep on going whatever we're doing.
Edward Waters University football team made history as they celebrated their first ever victory as an official Division II institution with a defeat of Morehouse College over the weekend Saturday afternoon. That's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 10:57, it's 84 degrees. Time at 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman is brought to you by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
Is the expectation. So really, I've been looking forward to tonight to set the record straight. I was not misquoted. And let me just repeat, winning now is the expectation. Make no mistake, this is the best team assembled by the Jacksonville Jaguars ever. Best players, best coaches, but most importantly, let's prove it by winning now.
All right, I don't know if I can go along with the best collection of talent that's ever been put on the field by the Jacksonville Jaguars, but the owner's entitled to his opinion as well.
Talking to the team in the locker room, I think that's the right message for the team. You know, like going into this year, the owner's speaking to that group of guys like, this is the best we've ever been. Own it, right? Like, I appreciate the Mets. I'm with you. I don't think they're better than 99.
Or several of those late 90s teams that were
going
loaded.
Into this, I get it, but those guys in that room, they don't know about 99.
Yeah.
They know this Jaguars team. They know the past couple of years of Jaguars football. It's certainly the best team Shad Khan's had since he's gotten here.
I don't have an issue with the overall message, which is we expect to win. And we found this is on The Hunt, which you should go watch the full episode. Jaguars do a great job, the digital team, with that every season, but that's continuing along. This was shot at the beginning of training camp, and we're just seeing it now come out that he made the statement. How do you feel about that? Let's say Wayne Weaver got up and made a similar address at some point. How would that be received by the players in the locker room?
I think it would have been fine. I mean, I don't think any player would have had any issue with it because I think their expectation is to win now as well. So does it put a little bit of extra pressure on? Maybe, but it doesn't trump any kind of pressure that already exists in the National Football League. I just found it kind of interesting that the owner wasn't – it's not like he had a smile on his face when he was saying it. I mean, he was being very matter-of-fact.
Right. He said, hey, and just for the record, not misquoted, right? This is
correct.
Absolutely what I expect at this point.
I liked it.
I get it. It's been a long time for Shad Khan. And yes, he's had back-to-back winning seasons, but he's looking at last year. It should have been back-to-back playoff seasons.
I think the one thing that I think Jaguar fans can appreciate is that he has the expectations to win because he has literally left no stone unturned as far as the resources that have been allowed to win here in Jacksonville. You name it, he's been more than happy to open the wallet for anything, for the prospect of winning. And I think that the Jaguar fans should appreciate that. Because that doesn't happen everywhere else. It doesn't happen in certain places that we know of very well.
How do you think it plays like for the coaching staff, right? Let's just say Jags win 9 games again, right? Winning record, 3rd year in a row.
Yeah, things get a little tense. I mean that's the nature of the beast. It's the nature of the business, and they know that. General manager knows that. Coaches know that. Personnel people know that. It's just part of the deal. I mean, the National Football League is, what have you done for me lately? And when you have a guy who, how many Super Bowls did Belichick win? 6, I think, last time I checked. Didn't he just get fired or let go, whatever you want to call it?
Sure.
I mean, look, even the greats get let go. And so it's part of the deal.
Yeah. All right. I'm just seeing how you felt about all that.
Why was the team, going back to, that run from 96 to 99, certainly the best run in franchise history. They got as far as they did in 96. We talked about it a ton. The AFC Championship game didn't get as far in 97, didn't get as far in 1998. What kind of pressure was there on the team in the locker room going from 98 to 99, knowing they have the guys in the room? They're like, we have the guys in the room that can go wherever we want to go. There is no limitation to what we can achieve going into this season. How did they deal with that pressure going into the year?
Well, in 96, there was no pressure.
Sure.
Just because the expectation wasn't there. I mean, we were an expansion franchise that barely won any games in 95, the first year of the franchise. And so 96 was a little bit of a magic carpet ride in a lot of respects. And then once you made it there in 96, then 97, I don't even know if the expectations were there. I mean, we kind of had the expectations, but then I think 98, 99, that's when the expectations really ramped up, and it created a little bit of tension, but nothing that you don't deal with. Again, like I said before, I mean, the expectation to win in the National Football League is always there, and it's always prevalent. So, does it add any more pressure, and does the pressure end up, hurting people or not? I mean, maybe. But I think it's always when you have great players, a lot of times you don't even think about the pressure, just because you're playing and you've got a great chance to win. Like With Tom Brady, I think, felt the pressure, but he had greatness to be able to back up everything that he did. And so I think it's going to be an interesting year, in a lot of different respects, because 9-8 will not be considered a success this year. That's for sure.
Dylan, I don't know if you've got it handy. Do we have the cut from Doug Peterson talking Monday about play calling duties?
Let me look real quick.
If you can dig that one up for us, we'll fire that one out there, Logs. But
I got it right here.
All right, let's see. Here's what Doug Peterson had to say when, it's game week. Have we decided who's calling the plays for the offense?
I still haven't made my mind up yet.
Okay. So you anticipate by Wednesday possibly having an answer for us?
Maybe.
Possibly?
Yeah, maybe. You may never know.
Can
you can just stop with the question right now. You'll never know.
So what do you make of that? I mean, why is this such a big mystery?
I don't know. I mean, it's a great question. I really don't know because, if you just answer it, if you just say, hey, look, we're both going to call plays. He'll call it sometimes. I'll call it sometimes. And
right. Is that what he is insinuating with you'll never know?
I don't know.
That's a weird kind of thing.
I kind of get that impression that it could be either way. But I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting situation, because, I don't think it's really an issue. I think the issue really has been just because he hasn't given the answer, so then it continues to be kind of a question to be asked when he hasn't given the answer yet. So if you just give an answer, how it's going to be, and I don't know if there's I don't think there's a competitive advantage
in knowing who is calling the plays. Right.
So I don't know. But, here's the one thing. On game day, when you sit there with the binoculars in the stands and you watch Press Taylor or Doug Peterson, you're going to find out who's calling the plays.
Sure, you would think. Right? I mean, they could both be on the headset at a given point, but you would think you're going to find out at some point.
Whoever's got the play sheet, and then they're covering up their mouth, and then they're talking to the quarterback like this.
Unless he has the whole sideline doing it at the same time. I feel like, Logs, like if Doug Peterson was going to do it, he would just come out and say, look, I'm going to call the plays, right? I mean, the owner has said he that's what he would prefer.
Right.
But he's got
I think that's why I don't want to say that's the reason why it's an issue, but I mean, when the owner has a preference and that's a question, I think that maybe that's one of the reasons for not coming out with a straightforward answer.
Right.
I don't know.
Like, why let it linger? Like you said, just answer the question one way or the other. I feel like
if it's answered, then the question goes away.
Correct. And now it could create a whole bunch of other things if you say, okay, this is going to be Press Taylor. And then your offense stagnates or you have some, decisions, poor performance on third down, whatever the case may be. So then it's press. So you're going to take the play calling away. So it's not the same question.
You're right.
But it shifts. I feel like once you go to Doug Peterson, that's it. Like if Doug were really going to call the plays, I think he'd just come out and say, I'm calling the plays, and then that's it. The buck stops with me.
Right.
What's the point? Because I'm not going to go, all right, I'm having a bad play calling season. Let me give it to my offense coordinator. I don't think, at least. It wouldn't seem like it would go that way.
I don't know, but I just hope that once the games start, that we forget about it. That means that the offense is having great success, and we're not worried about it.
Do you have a preference as to who calls plays?
I really don't. I think it's a mindset. If you go into the game with a mindset that's talked about and then it's executed in the proper fashion in which you prepared it, then I don't have a problem with who's calling the plays. The one thing that I didn't appreciate last year was that you were weakened as an offense because of injuries to your quarterback, and you didn't alter the way you called plays to protect that position a little bit. And you can kind of tell in some ways that they have recognized that shortcoming last year and have addressed it in a couple different ways. And one is, look at the amount that they've talked about this preseason about the importance of running the football, the amount of percentage that they're in three-point stances now. Press Taylor recently talked extensively about making a defense kind of indecisive as to what they're doing because if you're in a three-point stance, they're not quite sure. And then you go and you look at the Atlanta Falcons game where you were in a three-point stance and then you hit a couple big plays in play action. So I think that as long as this team gets back to being physical up front, running the football, relying on play action with two legitimate deep ball guys at wide receiver, then I think it's not going to be an issue.
So how confident are you that the offensive line can execute to allow that to happen?
Well, and that's, I'll say this, Mike. There were some signs I think in preseason that really made me encouraged. You go back to the Tampa game, and it was early in the game, and you had Anton and Ezra that were playing in that game, the only two of the starting group. And there was that one play that was on the Jaguars sideline, and I don't know if you remember it or not, but Anton gets 2 great blocks on the outside. Ezra got 2 blocks, and I'm talking physical, pound them to the ground type of blocks. You go to the Atlanta Falcons game, and you watch the combination block between Ezra and Cam Robinson where they just decimated a guy. And, yeah, I know it's a backup, but it's still a guy. The way that Mitch Morse has been consistent tying guys up, how he does a really good job of kind of changing his blocks up to keep guys guessing, stays on blocks really well. I mean, I got to see it, Mike, but I'm encouraged by what I've seen on some plays so far this year in the preseason.
How difficult is that, Logs? Like you said, you can only block the guy who's in front of you, right? But they are guys that won't be the starters, at least, for these teams. So how difficult is it, you watching yourself on film when you're going up against the backup, or the coaching staff when you want to evaluate just what kind of state that group is in?
Well, it's not just evaluating the one game where you're going against backups, but it's also evaluating yourself in practices, because you've got a pretty good defensive line, I believe. And so there's a lot of evaluation there. And so,
do you think they've held their own?
I think they've held their own in practice. I really do. I mean, if you look at what the Jaguars' defensive line was able to do in the inter-squad practices with the Buccaneers, and then to watch them against their own guys, our offensive line has done a much better job against our defensive line if you compared, an apples-to-apples situation there, which is the Tampa offensive line versus our defensive line, and you watch our offensive line versus our defensive line. Our guys have been better. So I'm encouraged. But last year I was encouraged as well, and then it kind of went a little bit down, and it was discouraging. But I'm hopeful, and I feel really good about it because, number one, I think Anton's ready to take a big step forward. I've always, you know me, Mike, I've been a believer in Ezra Cleveland from the get-go. I thought last year they did a bit of a disservice to him by moving him positions, then he got hurt. So I think those two guys being in this offense and improving, I think, are going to dramatically help. I think Mitch Morse is going to help. And I also believe that the left tackle, Cam Robinson, will be, I don't want to say on a short leash, but he'll be looking in the rearview mirror a little bit.
4 of the 5 have played together in the regular season before, with the exception being Mitch Morse, obviously. But he's the one calling out the signals for the offensive line when we get to Miami on Sunday. How much can you recreate a live game kind of atmosphere in practice for these guys trying to get together for week 1 against Miami?
It's hard. It's hard. I mean, when you do stuff like that, you can't create the game atmosphere because you can't create the emotion, you can't create the environment. But what you just try to do is you just rep it and rep it and rep it. And rep it in practice when you're in pads, which is basically one day a week, but then also the walkthroughs. I mean, you're just constantly going over things so that when they get into a time of crisis or stress that they can handle it because they've repped it so many times before. And that's really the only thing you can do.
All right, Jeff Lageman's obviously here on a Check the Tape Tuesday. We invite your questions and comments in all the different ways you can give us feedback. A reminder, coming up today at noon, we launch Duval Rundown, episode number 1, a brand new 1010XL podcast. Gus Logue will host that. I'll join him on the premiere episode coming up today.
Nice.
You can find that on the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. Tony
Are you a
Smith will be a
YouTuber?
big part of that. Am I a YouTuber?
Yeah.
I'm a TikToker more
Okay.
than anything. It's kind of where I'm at right now in my
That's pretty
whole
cool. That's what's up.
social media landscape. I've given up the gram for TikTok. No, I haven't. I do have an Instagram account. I couldn't tell you what the name of it is. What my sign-in is.
I think
or
I
anything
signed
like
up
that.
for that years ago because of something Telvin Smith was doing on
I
there.
wanted to spy on my son's Instagram when he was in junior high. I want to make
Yeah.
sure that there was no hijinks going on right there, at least beyond junior high levels. But yeah, I don't remember the last time I was logged into Instagram. But hey, you do you, whatever the social media, unless you're in Brazil, and then you got to find an alternative to Twitter. Sorry, Cristiano, but we will see you in the virtual draft room tonight. All right, Logs is here. It's a Check the Tape Tuesday. We'll continue talking Jags with an eye on the Miami Dolphins matchup. Coming up, this is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. They may not make a lot of plays.
Good snap. Good hold.
But sometimes they make the most important play.
One of the best kickers in the league year in and year out.
Listen for the Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game on 1010XL.
Don't ignore plumbing leaks. They can lead to mold and mildew or structural damage and drain your wallet. So when you have a leak and can't wait a week, call Roland Reich Plumbing. PlumbingJacksonville.com.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, so here's a reminder to get screened. Ackerman Urology has 4 convenient locations to help you put your prostate health first. Guys, don't put this one off. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Join Jim Furyk and other legends of the PGA Tour for the 4th annual Constellation Furyk and Friends, presented by Circle K, October 4th through 6th at Timuquana Country Club. Get your tickets now, starting at just $25 for grounds passes. Public parking is free, and our military get complimentary tournament access courtesy of ViStar Credit Union. Get your tickets today at Ticketmaster, October 4th through 6th at Timuquana Country Club. The 4th annual Constellation Furyk and Friends, presented by Circle K.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Rotator cuff tears are the most common overhead injuries I see. In order to avoid shoulder issues, make sure not to overload the front of the shoulder while also focusing on developing good scapular strength and maintaining flexibility in your lats. Proper hydration, nutrition, and supplementation are also crucial to joint and muscle health. Go Jag.
You don't think this would be a good moment to text somebody?
There's never a bad moment to share your opinion on the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Share your opinion
as soon as possible
at 641-1010.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
Clearwater,
John, I can't even mow my side yard. It's so soggy. Man, my builder sucks.
Brent, calm down. This is a common problem in neighborhoods where houses are built too close together. You need gutters and a properly installed French drain that will soak up subsurface water. We can completely dry it up.
So I can take my builder off my speed dial now, huh?
Yeah, we got you, buddy. Let that builder bitterness go.
Clearwater irrigation and drainage too.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to bring your friends out and enjoy our spectacular golf course, which is carved out of some of the highest elevations in North Florida. Hidden Hills Golf Club, unlike any other. Check us out, hiddenhillsgc.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman is brought to you by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
Tony, for the record, last night Travis Etienne slipped into the first round of our draft.
He did.
I don't think it's too crazy. I mean, it's Jacksonville and
14-team league.
Right, he goes in the second round, so you're taking him maybe a round ahead of where he typically goes.
Maybe, but if you're in that position, you're like, well, he's definitely not getting back to me.
Take your guys.
That kind of thing.
I'm a believer in take your guys.
Give me the top 5 fantasy guys in the league.
The whole league?
Yeah,
well,
the whole league.
There's really 8. Okay, because there's 8 guys that we were talking about it this morning.
Yeah.
Usually Christian McCaffrey goes first overall. Okay. In the next 7 picks, Breece Hall and Bijan Robinson are the other 2 running backs who are going to go.
Okay.
Okay. At wide receiver, you got 5 receivers. See if you can tell us. The 5 receivers.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill's one of them.
The guy in Dallas.
CeeDee Lamb. I didn't think you were talking about Brandon Cooks, so yes.
Jefferson in Minnesota.
Jefferson's 3.
I don't know.
Jamar Chase.
Yeah, Chase. Wow.
Right, but he is going. He went 4th last night in our draft, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown of Detroit.
Yeah.
And then at almost always at 9,
as the guy with the
A.J.
8th
Brown
pick,
goes.
When Jamar Chase went 4th, I was like, yes.
Yeah, Tony had the 8th pick last night, and I'm wondering, like, is he going to have that decision? Because, you're getting close now, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But, Travis Etienne usually goes at the end of round 2 in a 12-team league. So going at the end of round 1 of the 14-team league is not a crazy stretch. I didn't think anybody really went too overboard. I thought Ingram went a little bit early at tight end, but I didn't think anybody went too nuts.
It wasn't crazy.
No. So we'll see. Maybe
where does like a Brian Thomas or a Gabe?
Brian goes ahead of Gabe. And Brian Thomas probably like
what round would they be?
On average, I'm trying to think maybe 8 for Brian Thomas, right? Gabe Davis more like a 10th, 11th, 12th round guy even.
Okay.
But everything, and if you're in a Jacksonville-based league, it's like somebody called us up on Sirius the other night. He had the 4th pick. He goes, am I crazy for considering Saquon Barkley? I look, he's from Philadelphia. Well, it's not crazy. I mean, he's going like at the 12th pick.
Yeah.
So you want him at 4? That's the only chance you're going to have to take him.
Right.
So, but everybody gets that hometown bump up the board. Is the way it is. But we will see how it plays out tonight. Let's go to the lines once again at 641-1010. Mill is on the west side and now on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Mill.
Good morning. How y'all guys doing today?
Excellent, man. What's up?
Okay, so my question is, are we familiar with any teams that, whether it's been last year or maybe the last few years, any teams that's kind of been giving Miami a tough time? And should we follow the recipe of what those teams did?
Fair question.
It's a great question, and I went back and was just looking at some of the scores last year, and because you want to watch a game that somebody had success against Miami's offense. The New England game kind of comes to mind because they kept the Miami Dolphins to a relatively low score. The Eagles game, the Philadelphia Eagles won, and they held the Miami Dolphins, I think, to like 17 points, somewhere in that range. So, I mean, those are a couple games I think that you'd want to take a look at.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we could get the
Buffalo
temperature
beat 'em
below
twice.
freezing, we could do what Kansas City did to them in the playoffs. Too.
Yeah.
Would be nice.
Yeah, we're still in the warm weather area when I was dialing up
I don't
these
think we'll
games.
have that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're Ryan Nielsen. You're obviously watching that film, right,
Sure.
to see
Oh,
what disrupted Tua last year.
You're gonna watch every game that you can to see what worked, and then also you're gonna look at the games to see what didn't work to make sure that you don't end up making some of the same mistakes.
Miami ended the season, by the way, last year. Now, there's some pretty good defenses involved here. They scored 22 against the Cowboys and a 22-20 win. Not a crazy total. They scored 19 in a blowout loss to the Ravens. They scored 14 in a loss to the Bills.
Yeah, Bills played really well against
and then they wrapped up the season in the wild card round by scoring only 7 against Kansas City. And granted, that was, again, but it wasn't like they ended the season as a juggernaut offensively. No. Problem is, we're not playing them at the end of the season.
No, playing them when they were really
they got out to a pretty hot start last year.
Yeah, and as it was a big talking point when they got to the end of the season last year, they don't beat teams with winning records. That's been the Miami thing for a number of years now. They've been a playoff team or right there on the edge of a playoff team, but they haven't been very good against other playoff teams when everything is said and done. That doesn't come into play all that much in week 1 of a regular season. That's something you look back at the end of the year and say, well, Jacksonville was or wasn't a playoff team. How'd they do against the Dolphins? You look back in memory at that kind of thing. But I expect the Jaguars to be a playoff team this year. And it's part of the reason why when we get to our picks on Friday, I'm going to pick them to beat Miami.
I am too.
Right? That's what I'm going to wind up doing because I do expect that kind of trend to hold for the Miami Dolphins. I don't think they're nearly as good against the better teams on their schedule. I think Jacksonville is one of the better teams on their schedule.
I think that another good thing, too, is that Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill have not practiced a lot lately. So
just really on Monday came back to practice together for the first time in a little while.
Yeah, so you feel pretty good about it, because you go back and Tua was asked, I think, about OBJ a couple weeks ago about the chemistry, and he's like, "Oh, I haven't had it, don't have any."
How would we know? Right?
Haven't practiced together with him. Well, you haven't practiced together with Tyreek with a thumb, and then Jalen's also had an issue that was undisclosed as well. So are they going to be a little off? I mean, you might think so, but I like that. I'd rather have them coming in having not practiced a lot all the way through the preseason than basically hitting all of the landmarks as far as preseason.
I'm with you, and at least I don't know what he'll ultimately turn out to be, but no OBJ obviously for the first 4 weeks of the season for the Miami Dolphins. No Bradley Chubb either, for that matter. Would have been nice if Jalen Phillips had taken a little longer to recuperate.
And he thinks that he's going to be back full speed, but I mean, I've never seen a guy come back from an Achilles full speed out of the gate. So I know that he has a high expectation to be the best,
better than ever. Yes, yes.
But the reality is it just doesn't happen.
All right, why don't we take a look around the rest of the National Football League?
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
The San Francisco 49ers and left tackle Trent Williams are close to getting a rework deal done, which would make him available for their opener on Monday night. 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey returned to practice on Monday. The Indianapolis Colts hosted running back Leonard Fournette for a visit yesterday. Miami wide receivers Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle both returned to practice for the Dolphins yesterday. San Francisco wide receiver Ricky Pearsall will miss at least the first 4 weeks of the season after being placed on the team's non-football injury list following him being shot during an attempted robbery this weekend. Carolina linebacker Jadeveon Clowney missed practice on Monday due to an illness. Kansas City has placed running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the reserve/non-football illness list, which will require him to miss at least the first 4 weeks of the season. Chiefs wide receiver Marquise Brown did not participate in practice on Monday due to a shoulder injury. Pittsburgh running back Jaylen Warren told reporters Monday that he was able to do individual drills, but that he anticipates participating in team drills on Wednesday. And the Baltimore Ravens restructured the deal of linebacker Roquan Smith to create an additional $4.857 million in cap space this year.
All right, thank you, Tony. Our Jaguars Today, Chad and Sandy real estate question today is what it always is on a Check the Tape Tuesday. What are your questions for Jeff Lageman? We've got a few on social social media that we haven't gotten to, Log, so we'll deal with those when we return in the moment. Our final timeout coming up. Man, it's flying by. It's game week. Can you feel it? Jags, Dolphins. Let's get off to that 1-0 start. Let's run this state and take care of business better than the college teams in the northern half of the state have done to this point in their early seasons as well. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and Dylan Denmark here with you. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. I've had such a wonderful time with Awaken 180 because they deliver on their promises. You know what? You set out, you have a goal in life, whatever that is, and you try to build that roadmap to get to that goal. What are the checkpoints I got to get to reach my destination? It's hard sometimes. If you've been overweight like I have and you go, man, I got to knock off 40, 50, maybe even 100 pounds. How do I even begin? Well, you begin by picking up the phone and calling Awaken 180 or checking them out online at awaken180weightloss.com. Awaken 180 will help you lose weight. They'll turn you into a fat-burning machine. You eat to lose weight. There are no medications, no injections, no exercise program that's required with Awaken 180. Just eating to lose weight, turning your body into a fat-burning machine. The pounds will fall off, and when they do and you hit your goal weight, it's free coaching and support for life for my friends at Awaken 180. It's been great for me. I've kept all those pounds off for 11 months and going strong. You could be the next success story. Check them out online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
When pests invade your space, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, we show up for you and eliminate pests quicker because we care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so do we. Don't live with a pest problem. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com. Terminix it.
Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need help fixing a plumbing issue? Let our winning team go to work for you. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
We love talking sports on 1010XL, and I-9 Sports loves giving kids the perfect way to grow up playing sports. Fall and winter registration is underway. Log on to i9sports.com and see all they've got to offer. Kids 3 and up. You can enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount. Year-round sports all across the First Coast. St. John's, Duval, and Clay. Sign up now for fall and winter. Great locations added like Fort Family Field, Westside Middle, and Duval Charter Bay Meadows. It's all online at i9sports.com.
There are so many ways you can catch me, Mia O'Brien.
Helmets and Heels.
Weekdays, noon to 2.
And on 1010XL's video and social channels. All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota.
It's Mo Time with Mo Bryan.
On 1010XL.
Visionaries, builders, and doers. Are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand-new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Duval,
Jaguars football is officially back. Be there for the Jaguars 2024 home opener when they go head-to-head with the Cleveland Browns. Join us as we celebrate Hispanic heritage and take the field at Everbank Stadium for the first time during our 30th season. Lock in your seats now for the 1 p.m. kick by going to Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you back at the bank.
It's the best time of the year again. It's football season, and with football season here, fantasy football has arrived. And forget the season-long leagues. Underdog Fantasy and the Underdog Fantasy app is the way to go. I've been playing it now for almost a year, and it is just suits me to a T. First of all, it's simple, right? Just choose higher or lower on statistical projections or compete against others in player-v-player fantasy games. Either way, there's so many options. There's research there on the site. It's easy to use, and right now, you can get a little bit extra. That's right. Go to the mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code PROSSER. They're going to give you a special to use on your first contest and a deposit offer. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code PROSSER, and claim your new customer offer. Do it right now, plus a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Got to be 18 or over, got to be present in the state where it's played, and call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org if you have a problem.
Hey, Carline here. If you're like me in the fall, you want to watch football, not clean. Enter Molly Maid, voted Bold City Best Cleaning Service 3 years in a row. Molly Maid is reliable, friendly, and thorough. Visit mollymaid.com.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jaguars have released their team captains for the season. Quarterback Trevor Lawrence, tight end Evan Ingram, defensive end Josh Hines-Allen, linebacker Foye Oluokun, and punter Logan Cook. They're ready to lead the team during Week 1 against Miami this Sunday. Head coach Doug Peterson spoke on their opener against Miami being a great test.
It's a great test. I mean, this is what you want, though. You want to compete against the best, and sure, preseason is one thing, but now it's the regular season, and you're going to get everybody's best, and we're gonna put our best foot forward. So great opportunity for our guys, for our defense, and for our team to compete this coming weekend.
Sound courtesy of Jaguars.com. I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, we'll get to some more of your questions here pouring in as we cool things down. Jags getting ready to heat up the season against the Miami Dolphins in South Florida. Somebody asked, what happened to E.T.? Is he not on our show anymore? Well, thanks for listening every day. Hasn't been on the show for over a year. Hasn't been on the station for a couple of months because he tore his Achilles playing pickleball. But
why is he not back at work? I mean, it's the Achilles, so I mean, does he
can't drive with right foot?
Hasn't been able to drive.
How come he can't drive? What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Was his right foot?
Yeah.
Well, what's wrong with your left foot?
Just telling you. I don't know.
I remember I broke a leg in college, and I broke a tibia, and I was casted from my toes all the way to my hip. I just hung that leg over in the passenger side and drove.
I would think that's a possible way to do it. Headline, Logs calls out E.T.
I'm just saying. I mean, after a couple months, come on, dude.
I don't know what to tell you. All right, I'm just telling you the circumstance.
They make those scooters too that you can put that one bad leg up, and you can.
They do. I don't know if you can get to work from the west side.
Do they make electric ones like that?
No. I know Maurice Jones-Drew made that popular for a long time.
He did, yeah.
It had that little knee scooter. You got that one knee up. Logs, let me ask you here. Somebody asked, do you all know anything about Jalen Ramsey not practicing? Well, he hasn't been practicing. For about basically as of last Thursday, that's the most recent update I saw. He wasn't practicing that day, and it's been about 3 weeks where he wasn't on the field. So I think there is some uncertainty about his availability for Week 1. I'm sure he would love to play against his former team, but we don't know what kind of shape he's in.
Just like Waddle, we don't know what the injury was.
Right, that was an undisclosed deal.
Right. So,
absolutely.
And obviously, Jalen going against his old team, and then Jalen being a really good player, it makes a big difference. I mean, he's a good football player. So
somebody asked, how do you attack him? Let's say Jalen Ramsey's out there. Their contention was he loves to jump routes. So do you try to stretch him down the field vertically with a Brian Thomas, or what do you do?
Well, first of all, the word attacking, I don't know if would be the proper word. I mean, when you're going against really, really good players, and Jalen's a really good player, I don't know if you attack him. I mean, you just kind of run your offense and you hope to find an opening somewhere in his area. But Jalen will be aggressive at times. And do you try to do double moves or something of that nature? I mean, maybe. But, I mean, there's a reason why he's been one of the best cornerbacks in the league for a while.
We've talked about a bunch of the areas where we expect the Jags to be tested this week, right? We know the guys that they're going to have with Waddle and Hill being back and ready to go. It's not a surprise that they will be. We've talked a little bit about the Dolphins' run game and the advantages that they create for themselves with that kind of thing. We talked about their offensive line not being the best. When you look at it from a Miami side of things coming up for this game on Sunday, what would you see as the biggest advantage in a matchup for the Dolphins going against the Jags on Sunday?
I don't know if they've got a big advantage, but I think Miami is supremely confident in their offense, supremely confident. I don't think they're worried too much about what Ryan Nielsen's defense is going to bring to the table. I think that they're going to try to be the fastest team on the field like they have been in the past. I think on the flip side of that, their defense, I think, is just going to be a little bit of an unknown, just like the Jaguars' defense is a little bit of an unknown. You've got a new defensive coordinator that you really don't have a book, so to speak, on him as far as a large number of games to look from. With Ryan Nielsen, you might have a little bit more evidence because he's been a coordinator for a few more years. So I always think that the first games, there's always some surprises because there's always something new that you can put in. And on top of that, we really don't know how the newness of the kickoff is going to be under real game conditions. So there's a lot of unknowns in the first game.
It's interesting just looking at a story on that yesterday, not to interrupt you. There's the idea that there are teams out there that are confident in their kicker's ability to kick line drives that land between the 20 and the goal line that then skip into the end zone, which then if it does that, you only get it out to the 20.
If it's not brought out of the end zone.
If it's not brought out, right?
Correct.
So you put that decision on. But if you could see certainly if it is that kind of kick and you got two guys lined up at like the 3, right? Mm-hmm. And you hit that skipper, boom, and it goes in, you could see it just going right out of the back of the end zone, Right. And do you use that every time? Do you use that in special circumstances?
You don't know.
We have no idea.
Yeah. No, and the other thing, too, is let's not forget, we talk about that line drive kick that you're talking about, because if the ball hits the landing zones anywhere and then goes through the end zone, then the ball gets out to the 20.
Correct.
That's what you're referring to.
Yes.
Well, in that scenario, the ball's got to be kind of a line drive. If any of the returners, frontline guys, without jumping, put a hand up in the air and hit that ball, then it goes to the 40. So just keep that in mind as well.
We didn't see Duvernay returning kicks in the preseason. We saw the Jags still have plenty of success in their kick return game in the preseason. Do you think that has an impact on how Miami wants to deal with it? We've talked about it throughout the offseason that there's the real possibility that a bunch of teams say, we're not fooling with it, kick it in the end zone. We're not going to even have it be a play.
I think we're going to see a lot more of that.
Right. Do you think the Jaguars' success on that play in the preseason may dictate that happening a little bit earlier this week?
Maybe, but you just don't know. I mean, I mean, with a new rule, and then when it starts counting for real, when it matters, then coaches sometimes have a tendency to be a little bit conservative. So that's why I think when the rule came out, we had talked about it a while back. I said I felt that there was going to be more teams that just choose to kick it into the end zone and then let the opponent start on the 30, just to not have that risk of a big return. And especially in week 1 when they're worried about everything else that can be going on, that's probably a little bit easier decision to make.
Somebody sent along from Trevorville on X or Twitter, Peter Schrager's playoff picks has the Jags as the 4 seed, which means they have them winning the division. curiously has the Broncos as the 6th seed. I don't think too many people are going to be picking that. And no Texans in there. Also has the Chargers in there. And a lot of people think this is going to be a readjustment year for the LA Chargers. But hey, who knows, right? I mean, really, in the end, doesn't matter what the predictions are. Doesn't matter what the power rankings say about any of that. By the way, ESPN projected the Jags to also make the playoffs with 11 wins, I think it was. Had them at 9-7 through 16 weeks, winning their last 2 games, getting in with 11 wins, but as a wild card in there. Logs, how do you feel? Like, assuming that there are not injuries that take the top players out, and that's the case for any team, right? You lose your quarterback for an extended period of time, even though the Jags may have a better backup situation, all bets are off, right? But presuming the Jags have no worse injury luck than any other team out there, how do you think they, shape up in the AFC South and the AFC overall?
Well, I think the AFC South is going to be incredibly challenging because I think the emergence of C.J. Stroud. I said this, when John Osher puts together the Jaguars.com articles, he kind of does a survey of all the different people, whether it be me or Frank or Brent Martin or whoever, and he kind of gets some thoughts. And he said, one of the biggest concerns the Jaguars have, and then he kind of leaves it open-ended. You answer it how you want to. My answer there was the Houston Texans, just because of C.J. Stroud and how good of a year he had last year. And I expect him to take another step forward this year. He's got incredible arm talent. So that's my biggest concern is the Houston Texans in this division because they're really good. The Colts, I don't worry myself because I think Richardson is still a little bit of a wild card, and he'll be up and down just because of his inexperience. The Tennessee Titans, I think, are going to be the cellar dwellers of the AFC South. But in the division, I've got major concern about Houston, man. Not to mention the advancement of C.J. Stroud, but then the additions that they made with that football team, they're going to be better.
With keeping it on the quarterback, I know you mentioned Trevor Lawrence and that you feel good about what you've seen from him through this offseason, through training camp, through the preseason, the 2 preseason games we saw him play in. Well, the season starts on Sunday for the Jacksonville Jaguars, so we don't have a chance to talk to you again before the season starts. What are your expectations for Trevor Lawrence in 2024?
I expect him to be an elite quarterback this year. I do. I expect him to move into that category, and who resides in that category? I mean, obviously at the top is Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson's right up in that category. I expect him to move up into that upper echelon of quarterback.
That level of quarterback? Or?
Right there. Right. I'm talking about, when I say upper echelon, I'm talking top 7 quarterbacks in the league.
Okay, because, the 2 guys you mentioned, multiple-time MVPs.
I expect him to be right on the cusp of those guys. It's time. I mean, he's got the talent. He's got the physical tools. He's got the weapons. Now, does he have the time, and does he have the success this year?
Most talent we've ever seen on the field here in Jacksonville, according to some.
Well, I mean, according to the owner.
For the owner.
There might be some guys from 1999 that would make a counter-argument to that.
You know what? Make a run at him, right? Let's go.
Yeah.
I would agree that the 99 team is pretty strong in that category, but, get to the Super Bowl and you can say anything you like.
And we've talked to plenty of the guys from that 99 team. They'd like to see the Jaguars go further than they did.
Oh, absolutely.
They're pulling for it too.
You got a piece of it. Yeah. And you're part of the legacy.
Absolutely.
Right? I would think who would want them to go, I want 14-2 to be the best ever and coming up a game short of the Super Bowl.
It is past time for the 1999 team to be replaced as the best team in franchise history.
Doubt. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And I'm all for having Doug Peterson have a statue outside of Everbank Field.
Let's do it.
I'm all for those kinds of things.
Duval special? No? Is that whatever the case may be? By the way, you see Nick Foles? Like, hey, don't you have to put hashtag ad on? You see Nick Foles all weekend? They're selling like some Philly hats or something, that he's obviously from the play in the Super Bowl, right? And nothing wrong with that. Like everybody does, but it's like, I seen all weekend long, Nick Foles popping up in my timeline. I got to check. Maybe I follow him from the time he was here. That might be what it is. But just on and on with the with the Philly. Enough already. But yes, I would like us to have a statue that we can wonder if we should have erected it or not, but who cares?
Can we have a play like that, like everyone else in the country's like,
Yes.
can you get over it, please? Like, they're never going to be over that.
Never. Nor should they be ever over
All right, so if you guys were going to come up with the perfect Jacksonville type of name, what would it be for that magical play?
Oh, I already had the annexation of Palatka. That was we had that a couple of years ago. It was like the whole thing was laid out, and Tebow was going to be involved.
Gardner involved.
Gardner Minshew was going to be involved. They all were in there. It was like a double reverse. Ended up with a jump pass, obviously, there at the end. But annexation of Palatka, baby. Pockets wished that Baldwin could have fulfilled that on Friday, but
yeah, it came short.
It came up just a wee bit short on that one. All right, before we get Jeff's lean early in the week, let's wrap this one up, Dylan.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers. Discover BioTarget Regenerative Therapy, a safer drug-free solution for lasting pain relief. Visit GoBioTarget.com.
In all seriousness, Logs, they'd probably go with like Duval Special or something like that, right? It's not going to be the annexation of Palatka.
Got to have the Duval
if it were.
name in it.
Oh, yeah, there'd absolutely be the Duval dime, the whatever it happened to be. You know, you put that ball, like if you had that Eli Manning to Mario Manningham type moment, you know, the Duval dime. Who knows? We'll worry about it if it comes. LB, Lauren Brooks, hello. How are you? Happy game week.
Happy game week to you, and it's just now bringing back those vibes of Little Giants and the actual annexation of Puerto Rico.
There you go. See, that's right. I didn't pull it out of thin air, although I often do with those kind of things. So what do we got cooking today on Helmets and Heels?
We are going to get into all things college football.
Are you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you for the apology. Mike Norvell had to apologize. And so certainly, yes, lots of games over the weekend. Good. There is good. It's just not in the state of Florida outside of South Florida.
Oh, yeah. How'd UCF do? I have no idea. So
they won.
I think they won.
I think so. There you go. So
they won easily.
Above Orlando, north of Orlando, there's not a whole lot to hang your hat on. I would presume a little Jags Dolphins as well today.
Of course, absolutely. And then for all the Knowles fans at 1:20, Rick Ballou will join us. I'm sure he'll have some scathing things to say. That's right. Oh boy, is right.
Quarterback stinks. What can you say? I mean, guys are wide open. He just, can't hit the broadside of a barn. I don't think there's a whole lot of mystery.
That's a problem.
And pretty bad. Literally, wide open. And you throw it 5 feet over their head. What are you going to do?
I
can't win like that.
Too.
I laughed a lot watching Florida State play offense last night. That's not usually a good sign.
Yeah, I got my laughing in on Saturday.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, my laughter ended, Saturday.
I laughed plenty at the Gators, too. Don't get me wrong. I was laughing at a bunch of people this
I thought
weekend.
for sure, by the way, when Vanderbilt missed the kick, that they would not win the football game.
I can't believe Vanderbilt had a kicker make a 53-yarder.
Yeah.
That may be the first time in my
I
life.
can't believe Vanderbilt has a football program. So I don't know what to tell you, Logs.
They're 1-0.
Lauren, have a great show today.
Thank you
and
so
a great
much.
game week as well.
Thanks.
Logs, how you feeling? Just about the matchup on Sunday.
Excited about it.
Okay.
I love opening week. It's just there's a lot of good football on. It's the start of the NFL season, which you guys know I don't watch other sports. I'm an NFL guy through and through. This is the sport that I live for, and I love it.
So
can't wait.
What's your Jags competitive or 50-50?
I think it's going to be a good football game.
Okay.
Look, it's on the road in a hot environment. Even though you come from a hot environment, it's different. Like I mentioned earlier, and that it's hard to get in game condition, and it's always hotter in South Florida than it is here. So it's a tough matchup because of the speed problems that they present. But I think that the Jaguars also present some serious problems. They have a lot of weapons on offense, and they have two legitimate deep threats. And I really believe that they are going to stay consistent and committed to the running game. And there's going to be a lot of big opportunities in the play action category.
Where will we see you or hear you for the rest of the week?
A little busy this week. We get back to all of our normal broadcast stuff. So we have Jaguars Happy Hour and the Doug Peterson Show Thursday starting at 4 o'clock, and then that runs for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the first hour Happy Hour and then Doug Peterson Show after that. And then at 7 o'clock, we will be live from Strings for Jaguars All Access. Looking forward to that. An outdoor show Saturday, and then kickoff is at 1 o'clock, I believe.
It is.
10 a.m., I believe everything starts.
Love those 1 o'clock kicks, baby. Let's go. Only thing better? 9:30 a.m. kicks. I love those.
I don't mind those either. Yep.
So much.
But there's always a lot of excitement. And like Tony mentioned earlier, and you mentioned Thursday night football, Friday night football.
Let's go.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And then not to mention Sunday and then Monday Night Football. Let's go.
Right on, brother. All right. Well, we will talk to you during the pregame, and go Jags.
Go Jags.
Thanks, Logs. There goes Check the Tape Tuesday. Tomorrow, Johnny O will be along. We'll be one day closer. Mike DeRocco on Thursday. Tom McManus on Friday. Thanks for listening to Jaguars Today. For Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Back again tomorrow from 10 to noon here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renew.